sun is shining, the flowers are blossoming, and I can't walk outside without my eyes watering, my nose itching, and me sneezing every 2.5 seconds, which means that we are getting into the beautiful season of spring, and with a new season comes a whole new plethora of anime. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about my watch list for the 2025 spring anime season. And you know, originally I did think in fact that this wasn't going to be a big season. It didn't seem like there was a lot of big hitters coming out, and none of the new anime that was coming out this season seemed particularly interesting, and I still keep that sentiment to a degree. But are there some things that if they look interesting, like if they hit, they will hit, and they will hit hard? There are things out there that definitely look interesting, but things that don't immediately excite me. I don't get hyped when I read some of these paragraphs and I watch some of these videos. There are some both new and old anime coming out with new seasons that I am excited about. I'm not going to deny that fact. But to say that everything is exciting me, that's not necessarily the case. It's not like the summer season, which, I'm predicting that summer is probably going to be an hour of me just talking about all the anime I want to watch, because my lord, are there some bangers that are coming out in summertime. But spring does have its bangers as well. So how about we focus on the season that we're actually in and start this video off talking about all the anime that I plan on watching during the spring 2025 season. So the first anime that we're going to be talking about in this long list spring anime is Fire Force Season 3. Honestly, I am so glad to have this back. I am genuinely excited that I don't think I can begin to really explain how excited I am. Yeah, to say that I'm excited is an understatement. Finally, the long-awaited season, Fire Force Season 3, is finally coming out, and I am so psyched and so hyped to finally finish the series that I fell in love with so many years ago. I have wanted this moment so much that I have held off from reading the manga for this exact reason, and my efforts have paid off. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on any manga readers at all. It's just I wanted to experience the anime and fully experience the story through the anime. So forgive me if I wanted to hold off on the manga a little bit, you know, despite already knowing some of the spoilers. But it's fine. It's fine. It happens. It happens when you're on the internet and you talk about anime the way that I do. Now, of course, with an anime being gone for so long, there is worries of animation quality, story quality, and I'd be lying if I would say that I don't have those trepidations. I was originally worried about the animation, but looking at the newest trailers that came out, the animation still looks like it's going to be a banger as it always was. The storytelling, however, that's a whole different issue. Along with the announcement for Season 3, this also seems like it's going to be the final season, and where we left off in Season 2, that's concerning. Now, besides a few little plot points and knowing how the manga and the story actually ends, I don't know if this is something that is par for the course or something that necessarily is a bad sign. We could be nearing endgame territory with how it's designed, but at the same time, it could be just a season to just put everything out there and leave Fire Force behind. The studio behind this, which is David Productions, doesn't seem like they really have a track record of actually rushing out products in that way, so the worry isn't that too big. It isn't something that's lingering over me like a dark cloud, but it is something that is present. And can you really blame me for that worry? I mean, the last time Fire Force actually came out with a new season was 4.5 years ago. So to say I'm not a little bit skeptical as to what they could do with this, it's scary. It's scary to say the least. But I'm gonna keep faith. I'm gonna keep faith that the season's gonna be a banger. I'm gonna keep faith that the season's gonna come out and do exactly what it needs to do to show out to be one of the best anime of the year. And I have faith that it has the ability and capacity and quality to be anime of the year. And that's big talk for something that hasn't even dropped an episode yet as the time recording. All I ask is from Fire Force Season 3 is to give me banger animation, give me banger fights, tell me a well-developed story, and please improve Tamaki's character from the last 2 seasons. Windbreaker Season 2 is going to be the next anime we're going to be talking about, and yes, more schoolboys fighting through emotion. I need this in my life. I already said this in the previous video before, but Windbreakers was a show that when I initially watched watched it, I didn't really care for it. But as I kept watching it and I kept persevering through it, it became a show that was genuinely entertaining. It has good action, good fights, good fight sequence, good choreography, an actual meaning to all the fighting. Characters are actually people in the show. All around, it's a actual good show. And to get a season 2 so fast makes me so happy that I just attached to myself this random thing. And I only watched season 1 back in January of this year. So yeah, to say that I'm excited that I don't have to wait that long to actually get the story with our main boys and the Kill Gang, yeah, I'm very much anticipating how well this is going to be. I don't really think there's much to actually say when it comes to Windbreaker Season 2. I just expect it to be more of the same. Good fights, good characters, emotional moments, and actual genuine deep connection made through the action fighting. And if it comes out with the same quality that Season 1 had, it might just once again find itself on my top 10s of 2025. Now how about we go ahead and actually talk about some new anime that's coming out this season, and one of those anime is Lazarus. And you know, when you've been doing this and watching anime and reviewing anime for as long as I have, you tend to notice that there's some anime, while they haven't been the best of the best and they haven't been something that could potentially be a top 10 contender to everybody, there's certain anime that just hit so many of the right boxes for you that it just feels built for you. It built specifically for you and your taste in mind. And Lazarus, I think, is one of those anime. Its genre is currently leaning towards that sci-fi detective drama, similar to anime like Psycho Pass, Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and It Invader, to where that's just something I've realized I am just in love with and I need to really explore more of, because stuff like that hits me so hard on so many levels. The actual story of the premise seems really fun, where it's people having to find this dude who gave a miracle pill that's gonna end up killing a bunch of people in about a week. So it's a whole race through time and probably gonna be a lot of shady stuff. There's probably gonna be a lot of emotional turmoil and whatnot. It has drama packed in it, which I also love. And to just put the beautiful cherry on top, the creator of this story is Shinichiro Watanabe, the same dude who made animes like Cowboy Bebop, Carol and Tuesday, Samurai Champloo, and I found this out recently, but apparently he did Sunny Boy. The man did Sunny Boy. The man has so many bangers that I don't see how this one wouldn't be a banger. There are some anime that you have to watch to figure out that you'll like it. There's some anime where you know you have a feeling that you're going to like it and you jump into it having that confirmation. And then there's some anime that you don't have to watch it. You just know that it hits so many of that good points that in order for you to not like it, it would have to just mess up in such an extreme way that it would be unfathomable for you to not at least remotely like it. And I think Lazarus is one of those anime that I've already fallen in love with and I can't wait to actually watch it. And if anything about this anime that I just said has you interested as well, I think you're gonna like it as well. I mean, the fact that Watanabe did it, it's already gonna get so much attention. That's just par for the course. Anything that man touches seems to be gold apart from a few exceptions. But this story is going to be one that's going to be talked about heavily this year, I guarantee it. And I can tell you for certain, I, along with many people in the anime community and other anime watchers, are going to be watching Lazarus carefully, because it's going to be a certified banger. Next anime that's going to be on our watch list is My Hero Academia Vigilantes. And this was a story I actually didn't think was gonna get an adaptation, but at the same time, it's also a My Hero Academia product, so I'm not surprised. For those who may not know, My Hero Academia Vigilantes is a story about people who have kind of low level to no quirks, who try to become heroes and try to manage in a world where, you know, managing as a hero is kind of illegal if you don't have the right licenses and the right quirks and you don't go through the proper system. Hence the title for this series, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Now, to say that me and My Hero Academia have kind of a complex relationship when it comes to how I feel about it is an understatement. There are a lot of aspects of My Hero Academia that I think are really good and actually do a lot of good quality things, while at the same time there's a lot of things that it does that also holds it back from me actually caring or wanting to, you know, actually appreciate the show for what it is. Now, I could go down that whole track, but if I do that, we're gonna be here a while. But the reason why I'm excited that Vigilantes is getting animated specifically is for the fact that it explores a lot of aspects within the world of My Hero Academia that the main series really doesn't do. Obviously, the big part being how people with no quirks and people with quirks that don't necessarily dictate you to be a hero interact with the world when they want to be hero. It's a part that's not really touched on, but it has so many societal implications on how people interact with the system, interact with the channels of going through the heroes, what happens to people and society who do want to become heroes but their dreams are shattered, what paths do they take. Now, I'm not going to straight up bash or lie and say that My Hero Academia doesn't explore that aspect at all. It does. It just does it in a way where it like touches it and then it just kind of never brings it up again. And it's the original reason why I was so attached to My Hero Academia, but then it just doesn't really do that a lot. And that's why I love Vigilantes, and I love the fact that Vigilantes is actually getting animated. It's because that's what the story is. I'm repeating myself at this point. But I am excited to consume this spinoff, and I'm excited to see how they adaptate it. And honestly, it's more My Hero Academia content. Even if you were a fan of the mainline series and you might not be a fan of this, hey, it's more My Hero Academia content, so there we go. Our next anime of conversation for the season is Put Them on Takamine-san. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it a buck, I'm gonna keep it a frank, I'm gonna keep it straight with you. There's always the one. Ever since I've been doing these seasonal anime stuff, there's always one anime that's gotta be wild as shit. It's gotta be fucking buck wild. It's gotta do some crazy shit. It's gotta blur the line between ecchi and hentai, and I don't know why, but this is on that level, and why? I mean, at this point, we're just having a full-on censor bars. I don't even know where this is going to be aired. You know what? I know where it's going to be aired. That's not true. I know where it's going to be aired. It's going to be aired on fucking High Dive, because High Dive has all the niche little things that the anime industry always puts out. Know how I know this? You want to know how I know this? It's because Inukai-san is on High Dive. Why? I don't know, but it is. And by proxy, that means it's also on Amazon Prime, mind you. We live in a weird world. I think the only potential positive when it comes to this anime is the fact that the premise is actually so insane that this might actually be kind of enjoyable. I know what I just went on the rant, but I've said this before. If you've been a fan of the channel for a long time, I'm a fan of insanity in anime. I'm a fan of just over-the-top shit. One of my favorite animes, and one of the anime I think does this the best, is Prison School, and another anime is blah, 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 blah. Both of those animes are wild spectrums from each other, but both of them basically have that same essence of insanity. And I think if it goes wild enough and it pushes the boundaries, not in the ecchi way, but in the ecchi way of trying to maximize the insanity of the premise and the actual story, this might actually have a chance of being impressive. I'm not gonna lie when I don't say that. It might actually have a chance of being kind of, sort of, a little bit impressive. And that's part of the reason why it's on here. And honestly, let's be frank, ever since I've also done this as well, you motherfuckers have always at least wanted one ecchi. And I only know this because for some reason, every time I ever talk about an ecchi, it does well on this channel. I want to talk about something that's normal, and I want to talk about something that's popular, and depends on how I format it. But no matter how away I do it, it seems like an ecchi is always going to be the thing that you motherfuckers just want me to talk about. I don't know how that happened, but it does, and it aggravates. So is this going to be on the watch list? Yeah, probably, most likely. Next anime that we have to watch this season is From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. And, you know, I put this on here not because I necessarily find it interesting. If I'm being honest, this looks like generic anime 428,692. But I want to put my bet out there that this would actually lean towards being wholesome, but I don't think it is. I'm not putting this anime on because the premise is interesting or something about it actually catch my eye. This anime is mostly on here as a hope spot. I want to put some hope out there and hope that this anime could actually bring some wholesomeness and actually convince me that, hey, this might be just an interesting story. I want something to avert my negative expectations. Maybe I'm asking too much, but what I'm hoping is this is just a genuine story about a master being hailed by all of his students in a kind of wholesome way. Not a story where all of his students bring him to the capital just so they can smash. And honestly, I think it's an anime where all the students are bringing the master to the capital because they want to smash. But I don't want to think that's the reason. I don't want the negativity. I'm done with negativity. In 2025, we already have enough negativity in the world. I want wholesomeness. I want peace. Now you're probably asking yourself, hey, if you want wholesomeness and peace, why don't you just watch some slice of life anime? I am. It's not helping. I'm severely depressed. And maybe if there's an anime that looks like typical slop and schlock, actually be something that could be kind of cute and wholesome on an average level, I might feel a little better about myself. That's the main reason why it's on here. And honestly, we've already spent too much talking about an anime that I probably won't do that. So how about we just move on? The next anime that we're going to be talking about for this season is The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows. And this is an anime that is just another anime that ticks a box in me that just hits one of those aspects that I like when it comes to anime. And one of those weird niche things is I do like when fantasy anime put an emphasis or make the story about support classes. Now this premise has been done quite a bit, but it's not to the point where it's getting annoying. It's not at that isekai level yet, but it's just enough to where I'm getting my good fix and it's not overwhelming, because we get good stuff like Shield Hero and we get some other things that shall not be named for a copious amount of reasons. But I will say overall this does look like a bit of a generic type of story. Its premise is kind of interesting, but overall there's not really anything else that really interests me in the sense of it wanting to grab my attention or anything like that. Is that a fucking gun? No, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, people of all ages, that is a gun. That is in the trailer of this anime, we see a fucking gun. Why is there a firearm in a world full of fantasy? Okay, no, fuck it. I need to know now. Why is this lady holding a gun in a world full of magic? Do they have guns like this? Is this an isekai that I'm being tricked to not being told that it's an isekai? Why does this woman have a gun? Why is there even a gun in a fantasy world? I have so many questions. And you know what? Honestly, I could have passed on this, but this single frame is gonna bother me for the rest of my days because I need to know exactly why this woman has a gun in a fantasy world. Is it a stupid and trite reason to watch an anime? Yes. But I'm not gonna sleep, and this is gonna bother me for the rest of the year unless if I don't find out why she's holding a gun. Don't you want to know why she's holding a gun? We're all going to need to find out why she's holding that gun. The next anime we're going to be talking about this season is No Lu Generic Anime. Man, I really hope I said that right. Honestly, apart from the trailer and the actual description that you get on Mal, I don't actually know what the premise of this story is. We do get some description as our main characters and how they view the world and the type of world that they do live in, but other than that, we don't really get an idea of what direction this anime is going to go to from all the material that we have so far. The story does look a bit wholesome and the art style does look really unique, but there's nothing that's necessarily latching me on to the actual premise of the story. I'm not going off and saying, hey, you need to tell me the plot, banger for banger. All I'm saying is, I think I would have liked at least some type of hook, some type of better description than what I was given. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here, and I don't deny that this isn't going to be something that everyone's talking about. Hell, I saw a lot of people talking about this when the adaptation actually got announced. So there are a lot of people that are looking forward to No Lu Generic Anime. The only other thing that I saw for this anime was a lot of people were worried because apparently it was announced that the entire series was going to be told in 13 episodes, which some people worried that wasn't enough time to actually tell what the story needed to tell. Now, obviously, I haven't read the manga or the story for this, so I'm going in this completely blind. Maybe that's something that benefits me, maybe that's something that's not, but we're gonna have to see how that plays out as the series comes along. The next anime that we're going to be talking about is The Children of the Shiunji Family, and this was an anime when I initially wrote this script. I completely skipped on. When I looked at the trailer and when I looked at the bio, nothing about it really necessarily catched my eye. Until I saw some short content video on it that told me something about this anime that made me very interested to watch it. Let's just say that over the years, I've been kind of a fan of trashy TV. I don't know where this came from, how it spawned, but I've realized that I am a big drama whore. It's part of the reason why something like Domestic Girlfriend is such a fantastic anime to me and feels that little gossipy, dirty talk drama whore that I am. And if what I'm told about this anime is true, and if what was described happens, I think we're in for some prime drama schlock. It might not be Domestic Girlfriend levels type of schlock, but we might be in for some interesting type of storytelling. Wow, as I'm sitting here recording this, I realize how much of a degenerate that makes me sound. I promise you I'm not bad. I just like watching drama. I'm just someone that likes to be a little fly on the wall when shit happens and secrets are told and when shit starts to hit the fan. I never want to be a part of it. I just want to be someone that consumes it for entertainment. Am I potentially the problem? Yeah, but let me be the problem and enjoy myself. This is an anime that is going to heavily hinge on the first couple of episodes and how it's portrayed. If it's good, boys, we are in for the ride of our lives. If it is not, I'm going to be disappointed that I even picked this, and do not be surprised if I ride on this anime for the entire season. The next anime that we have that we're going to be talking about this season is Witch Watch, which is funny because I thought I put this on my script, but apparently I replaced it with another anime we're talking about later that also has witches in it, and then I saw another anime that I had to remove because I thought it was in this season, and I wasn't, only because it had witches in it. So I have noticed that there's a lot of witches that are happening this season, and not just this season, this year. Is this the year for witches? Regardless, let's go ahead and talk about Witch Watch. That's gonna be hard to say. But let's go ahead and talk about this anime. Honestly, to keep it short and super brief, I think this anime is going to be pretty cute. It's gonna be a little bit of a rom-com thing, but there's nothing that outright screams to me that it's going to be impressive. Again, there's not one of those anime that everyone seems to be kind of excited for, but not really. It does look really pretty. I like the color palette of the actual show. It's just, there might be something that might be somewhat of just like, it's a fine, cute show. But of course, in my journey to try to delve into more non-shonen things like romances and slice of life and detective shows and other various things like that, I at least want to give Witch Watch a chance. You know what? Jesus Christ. I want to give Witch Watch a chance because I want to at least see for myself if it's actually going to be a non-impressive rom-com or something that could actually be an enjoyable show. The only downside is that it's going to be on Netflix. I don't hate Netflix, but god damn it, I only want my shit to be on one thing. But that's just wishful thinking, I guess. The next anime we're going to be talking about is Once Upon a Witch's Death. You see what I mean when I'm talking about all this witch anime? Now, when you read this anime's description on Mal, this anime seems like it's going to lean towards something that's a bit more darker, something that's a bit more intense, something that's a bit more potentially philosophical and exploring the actual complexities of the feelings around death. But then you look at the trailer and this just comes off as just a straight comedy. And the vibes given by the description and the trailer is just completely different. Now, I don't think it's just going to be a silly little goofy anime. I think it's going to be an anime that explores someone actually processing the idea of death, and we're just kind of seeing their journey at the beginning, and we'll see how they feel throughout the entire journey. As this seems like they're having to go on a journey in order to stop their curse, and it's kind of what I'm hoping, but I would not be surprised if the show just becomes a silly little comedy, which kind of sucks because there's actually a lot to explore here. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you can't be an anime with a simple premise or do stuff in simple ways and not be good. Hell, Solo Leveling this year proved that you can do that and still be one of the banger shows. And if you think I'm wrong, don't worry, I got a video on explaining that exact process. But you can be an anime who does simple things that can be extravagant. It's just the way that this anime is approaching it doesn't feel like it's going to be on the track to be that impressive. I don't think it's going to be bad in any sense. I'm not going to say that. It's just, I think the potential for this anime is kind of holding itself back with the way that it's approaching its premise. I wish it did maybe hold itself a little bit more seriously in order for us to be able to explore that. But like I said before, you don't have to be a complex anime to be a good anime. So I do hope that Once Upon a Witch's Death can actually give me that surprising aspect. I'm always ready for an anime to destroy my expectations, whether it be in a good way or a bad way. And I really hope that this anime, Once Upon a Witch's Death, will be able to break it in a good way and become potentially a sleeper hit for me. The next anime that we're going to be talking about this season is Kakushite Makina-san, and it's an ecchi, where the girl is an idol and a robot. A sex robot who moves in with a boy and advances on him. Wow, we are really leading into the AI robot love stuff, aren't we? I mean, again, other than the wild premise, I really don't have anything else I could truly say about this anime. Is it something we're going to watch? Potentially, there's like a level of interest in just how the premise is, but overall, I'm just more here to once again complain about how ecchi is just blurring the lines of what is and isn't anime. I mean, it's all anime, but I guess it's blurring the line between ecchi and hentai. That's the big thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I acknowledge over the fact that I also do this to myself. I go ahead and I find these things, I look at it, and I complain about it, even though I could avoid it. I mean, if you haven't caught on to the bit by now, then I don't know what to do for you. The next anime we're going to be talking about this season is Two Perfect Saints, tossed aside by my fiancé and sold to another kingdom. Stop making long titles! Now, when I read the premise for this anime to write the script, this anime really gave me the vibe of My Happy Marriage. In the sense of, it's the story of a very kind person who goes underappreciated, who then somebody else takes them in and appreciates them for who they are, and thus helping them create the building blocks in them, recovering their own confidence and feelings into becoming a better person, and vice versa for the other person who's going through their own stuff as well. It is a simple yet satisfying idea for any type of romance story. I mean, it's hard to not to try and fall in love with the person who's being super kind and super sweet and just treated so poorly. It's the reason why I fell in love with My Happy Marriage in the first place. Now, do I expect lightning to strike twice? Not necessarily. I'm not expecting this anime to hit that level. Remember, My Happy Marriage is probably, if not, one of my favorite romances of all time. I'm not holding it on that regard, nor do I expect it to. But I at least hope that it gives me something interesting, if not a new take on the premise of kind girl gets brought in and built back up. And you know what? All you have to give me is those slow-paced moments, that growing love, and that appreciation and admiration for each other as partners, and I can totally be down with it. Next anime that we're going to be talking about this season is Shirley, and this anime is the gut feeling for the season. If you've been watching me for a while now, you know that there's always one anime that I sit there and it doesn't have anything for me to latch on to be interested about at all. But there's something about it, some aspect that I can't quite put down, that always makes me want to pick it up and always makes me slightly interested to see if it's actually any good. And Shirley is that one anime. Now, I do actually have somewhat of a reason why I think my gut is telling me to pick this up, and that's because of the Miyazaki-esque, Studio Ghibli-esque style this anime has. I know it's not a super prominent thing, it's not one for one, but it does look very heavily inspired when it comes to the softer details and the way it does their background and specifically character movement as well. But other than that, that's it. There's no other real reason that I would watch this anime other than for how it looks. But there's something about it that's telling me I might actually like this anime. And when it comes to choosing new anime, my gut has been pretty spot on, if not for one or two misses. So, you know, despite not being something that I think I'd go out of my way to watch, I'm gonna take my gut's advice and go ahead and put this on my watch list. Next anime that we're going to be talking about this season is The Gorilla God's Go-To Girl. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I have very little, if not no, interest to watch this show. It looks like your typical harem show, and honestly, those just don't appeal to me as much. So then you're probably asking me, Zay, if this is a show that you have little or no interest in, then why talk about it in the first place? Well, that's easy. I want to complain about the name. The show is called The Gorilla God's Go-To Girl, and that is a sick name for an anime, and it implies a little bit that it might get into some crazy shit, and it still might, for all I know, but nothing in the trailers made it seem that way, and it even leads more into that girl not being hyped up as much as she should have been, because it seems like the harem that she's going to be finding herself in is just going to be filled with a bunch of boys who just want to try and save her. Now, when I say this, I'm not pushing the narrative of, oh, girl doesn't want to be saved and stuff like that. That's not the narrative I'm trying to push. What I'm trying to push is, oh my god, I wanted a badass girl to actually go fucking insane. I wanted this to be an absurd anime about this random girl who just got the Gorilla God's powers and is now just tearing shit up. I don't know, maybe I was blindfolded because this anime is actually coming out very close to Re:Zero Season 3, and in Re:Zero Season 3 we get the story of Terrestria. I'm not going to tell you who that is, just watch Re:Zero. It's a fantastic anime. So this anime kind of sounded similar to that, only it doesn't, and it seems like it's just going to be a kind of whatever show. I just wanted to rant a little bit here about that. I think the show will probably be broadly fine, if not like slightly below average. Nothing that's completely inoffensive and nothing that really is to talk about home. It'll be an anime that exists during the season and it'll cease to exist, disappearing from the mind and the zeitgeist of many others. Although to be fair, I am the guy who years ago, when first talking about Jujutsu Kaisen's trailer, saying that it wasn't going to be all that, so I don't know, take that with what you will. Next anime that we're going to be talking about this season is Uma Musume Cinderella Grey, and this section is going to be talking about the anime itself, but also just the entire franchise of Uma Musume. And I mainly speak about it because I want to ask the question, is this show popular? Every now and then I'll see it pop up in the world of the anime community because people will bring it up in some weird capacity, whether they're talking about the main series or whether they're talking about the game. And for a show about horse girls racing on a track, it at times can have really good animation. I'm talking about good enough animation that people were comparing Uma Musume to Blue Lock. That's the level we're talking about. And then I have even more questions when I actually did start the main series for the first season. And then I have even more questions because when I did finally start the first season of the show, which I haven't finished yet, I found out that this is also ties to being an idol show. What? And I have to think that despite me rarely ever seeing people talk about this and this only ever popping up every so often, and I have to assume that there has to be some audience that's consuming this media enough to give this series a spin-off. Or the very least, I assume is a spin-off of the main series, I think. It's a franchise that I have a weird fixation on. I don't know why, but with the arrival of the spin-off series, don't be surprised if sometime during this season or at the beginning of next season during summer, I come out with some video talking about this Horse Girl series, about Uma Musume, because I don't understand who's talking about this, and I need to understand why. It also doesn't help as well that this anime also does look like it has pretty decent animation itself. Again, for a horse girl anime, I will never understand the anime community so much, but that's part of the reason why I love it. It is fascinating because this is a franchise that gets more seasons than certain anime that we've been waiting years for. Remember, we waited years for Fire Force to actually get its season 3. Uma Musume already got its season 3 and a spin-off, so I don't know. I have to dive into this series at some point. I need to know the infatuation. Also, my apologies, I was completely wrong. Uma, the horse anime, actually has the original 3 seasons of the anime, an ONA, a movie compilation, and the spin-off, along with the games. Who is watching this? Next anime that we're gonna be talking about this season is Apocalypse Hotel, and this anime, it looks super cute and super quaint. It's just a bunch of robots that seem like they're taking care of a hotel, just waiting for the arrival of humans once again. And they seem like they get up into a bunch of cute little shenanigans with a bunch of cute creatures. It all looks adorable as hell, which is why I suspect this to destroy me mentally and turn into some philosophical story. Again, this might be a bad example of me going ahead and reading too much into stuff. It could, for all I know, actually just be a cute show about cute robots doing cute things at a hotel. But there's just too much there layered for me in the setting, in the what they're doing, into what they're doing it for, that doesn't tell me that we're not gonna delve into some aspect of like meaning for the robots and explore of why things are pointless and why they do it, and the aspect of having a purpose and the reason to go on. You see what I mean when you hear the premise of this show and don't expect something to happen. And I'm not treating this as a should. It could still be a cute show about cute robots that do cute things at a hotel, and it could still be a fun, enjoyable slow. If this is a sci-fi slice of life where the robots are just doing robot things, I'm all for that. I love sci-fi. I like slice of life, or I'm trying to get more into slice of life. So a sci-fi slice of life where cute robots do cute things at a hotel is fine with me. But I've been hurt by too many products that have cute characters doing cute things in order for me to get in a false sense of security and then be hurt. I know a lot of you play Doki Doki Literature Club. You know what I'm talking about. And for that reason, that is something I'm going to keep an eye out for when I'm watching this anime. And it's something I am definitely going to be locked in watching for this season. The next anime that we're going to be talking about this season is Mono. And it's going to be a story about 2 clubs, which is the photography club and the cinematography club, coming together and helping somebody from the manga club make a live action anime or whatever the hell. I am completely butchering the summary of that anime, but I'm just here to basically say that this is here no more for me to just have a nice break. I do not expect much from the show other than just be a cute slice of life with a couple of eye candy. It's going to be dwelling in stuff like cinematography, having people do certain shots and recording things, so I expect it to do some cool little camera angles and some cool little aspect stuff, but other than that, I'm just here to have a good time and to watch cute characters do cute things. In a world where you watch constant fights, constant drama, constant suspensefulness and twists and turns, just having a show where characters just do stuff and are just wholesome is good. And I think Mono will be that show for me this season where I can take a break, relax, and just know that I'm just here for a good time. Next anime for the season is To Be Hero X, and oh my god, thank god I double checked the actual full list of Mal, because I would have missed talking about this show, and this show I need to watch this season. First off, the premise of To Be Hero X actually does sound extremely interesting, of a world where people can be superheroes no matter who you are, as long as you have the power of the people behind you, the support and the hope for the people. That sounds like a really interesting premise, and I actually like the many avenues you can explore with that. And the art for it actually does look really good. It looks very eye-catching and colorful. Now, everything I just said could be said in the opposite direction, because I genuinely think with how they potentially execute it, there is no middle ground for this anime. This is either going to be a banger or this is going to be a train wreck. Now, I've said that for various amounts of anime before, and a lot of anime I'm willing to give them the fact that it's going to be downright the middle average. But with this anime and the way it's trying to flip back from 2D to 3D, and I rarely ever see that work, and like I said, the premise is interesting and you have 1,000 avenues you can go down, but a lot of those avenues are also bad avenues that could be really not great. This anime will completely rely on execution. It has a good premise, it has a good style, it has a lot that will set it up to be a banger for this season if done right. But if done wrong, oh, we might be watching a massive train wreck of a show. I don't even have a studio that can push it in either direction. There's like multiple studios that is working on this project, and I have not seen anything from either of the studios working on this. So I truly don't have a parameter of which way it's going to go. Right now, I have to be in the middle, because all I have is the trailer to go off of, but that doesn't give me any indication of whether it's really bad or not. It could go either way. The only benefit I say is if it does go into the realm of bad, it might end up not being the biggest flop or the biggest train wreck of the season. And that's for an anime for potentially later to talk about. Next anime is Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game The Chronicles. And I forgot this was coming out. And I am actually extremely hyped for this anime. Now, you might not actually know this about me, but I am a big lore head when it comes to just consuming things from video games. I have so much knowledge of random stuff, it's insane. And you want to go ahead and talk about the things that I'm interested in the lore of? I'm talking about things like Dark Souls, Five Nights at Freddy's, Overwatch, Destiny 2, Magic the Gathering. The list could go on of random things that I'm into lore for. Hell, it doesn't even have to be video game stuff. I am a big fan of SCP lore stuff. I will fall asleep and watch 4 to 10 hour videos of people just listing off all the SCP. I can name you a good 10, but if I did, we'd be here for the entire video. But why bring that up? Why bring up the aspect of lore in video games and other IPs, card games, when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, if you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, you will know that it's a complex game that I still don't understand, despite being a Magic the Gathering player, which is weird. But a lot of the cards in Yu-Gi-Oh have a lot of lore drenched in them. And so what this series seems like it's going to do is explore the lore of some of those cards. And oh my god, yes, I can genuinely not wait for something like that to be explored. I mean, there are so many aspects of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that they can touch. They could touch on the neon, I mean, there are so many cards and aspects and lore and characters and little series with the DH series and the XYZ cards and the Neo cards, and there's a shit ton that they can explore with Yu-Gi-Oh! And it depends on how they explore the Chronicles series that either gets me excited, really excited, or a little bit disappointed. What I'm hoping from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Chronicles series is I'm hoping it's more of an anthology series episode by episode rather than it exploring one aspect of the cards or one aspect of that whole world in just one season. Now, if they do it in one season, it kind of depends on what the card is, how they explore the world, what they really touch on. And to be fair, I don't know what there is because the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have consumed is no longer above the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't consumed. After 5Ds, I don't really know what's out there. I have like kind of a good idea because I sort of follow Zexal, but I don't know what the hell is out there anymore when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And while I would want them to go ahead and explore something from either the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, GX, or 5Ds, and hell, even maybe something from Zexal, we're probably gonna get something that's from the earlier series, which is fair. If I'm being honest though, I'm just excited we get anything from this world in general. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was always one of those things where it had not that much explained when it came to its lore, but it was always insinuated that there was so much going on in the actual card game. And now we're getting to actually see some of it. It is genuinely excited and I cannot wait to consume this. And for our final anime of the season, we're going to be ending it off with something that is going to be very controversial to be watching this season, and that is Twins Hinahima. Now, if you haven't heard a lick of this anime and what it is, well then let me explain to you why this anime is going to be very controversial coming out. Twins Hinahima is going to be a show that is going to be made primarily 95% by AI. And as you know, when it comes to the art form itself, people are not going to be happy with it. Now, I did make a video about this saying that this is something that was going to be inevitable and that artists should kind of learn how to benefit from using AI rather than just completely writing it off. I do want to make an addendum that something like Twins Hinahima is not what I'm reaching for. I'm talking more of making certain processes a bit easier, whether you're using a cycle animation or you have to use the same phrase over and over again, or making very small, minute details that make certain things easier. I'm not advocating for a dominant switch of like 95% of mostly made anime by AI. I'm talking about it more as a tool, something that could actually enhance the artist and just allow them to make their lives a bit easier rather than just completely writing them off in the first place. I mean, when you just look at the trailer itself, it is quite obvious that AI was used in this project. It's not even a question in that sense. Now, of course, I do want to watch this because, again, this is going to be the most controversial anime out there this season. It's probably not going to be talked about a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's completely ignored as people don't want to give this anime attention. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be on streaming services for obvious reasons. I don't think things like Netflix or Crunchyroll or High Dive are going to want to put an AI project on their platform because by proxy, they're going to get a lot of flack for it. So it's going to be a bitch trying to find where to watch this anime, but you best believe we're going to watch this. I'm going to watch this, and I want to really experience what something like this can be done. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm expecting a dumpster fire. I'm expecting hot garbage. I will say that AI stuff in general, in terms of art and like pictures, has become really impressive. But AI videos are still pretty terrible. They are adding their own flair and touch to it, but I would be surprised if it doesn't just look super really janky. If it does, hey, maybe we might be in some actual serious trouble. But for now, we gotta be on the hunt for that and experience it firsthand for all of us. Nope, apologies everybody, we are not done quite just yet for two reasons. One, there's actually anime I forgot to put on there and I thought I didn't, but I didn't. Again, there's a lot of anime to actually talk about this spring season. And two, I didn't check certain episodes for certain anime, so there's some anime that are not gonna reach the weekly review limit that we usually have, so I had to kind of restructure that list. But I will talk about that when we talk about which anime we are going to review weekly on this channel. But the proper final anime that we're going to be talking about for the spring 2024 season is Rock is a Lady's Modesty. Now again, I've said it multiple times on this channel, but there are just certain things when it comes to certain anime that just tick a box for me that makes me fall in love with it almost instantly. And one of those things is anything that's music. Which is funny that I say that, because despite me liking a lot of music-based anime, I haven't consumed a lot of music-based anime. There's two that I haven't watched, which was Bocchi the Rock and K-On! That are still on my list. But I do have a super high interest in them. And Rock is a Lady's Modesty, this just looks so cool. The art and the camera angles and they use in this anime is awesome. And the music that they seem that they're going to be playing, which is like really hard rock music, is right up my alley. It is some really good shit. I feel bad that I have to come back and re-record this part just to bring up this anime, because this anime was something I'm genuinely interested in. It looks fun, it looks good, it looks like it could be a sleeper hit. Hell, it looks like it could be a out of nowhere top anime for this season. It is basically aggressive girls being over the top and playing music. I don't know what more I can add from an anime other than that. I am definitely going to be watching this anime this season because this is going to be peak. Now that we're done with all the anime that we are going to be reviewing for the season, it's time for us to pick the 10 anime that we are going to be reviewing weekly for the channel. Now I did mention before that there was a little bit of a shenanigans with some of the anime. Basically, like I said, some of the anime just don't fully make out for the whole season. Twins Hinahima, an anime that I thought was going to have more episodes, only has one. And some of the ONAs like To Be Hero X and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Chronicles anime, those ones also might be super short, like the same length as the Lazarus Recoil anime that's coming out. So I'm going to push those to the side, and I don't know if there's been a confirmed count for at least those two yet, but I know Twins Hinahima only has one episode, and so we can't really, review that weekly. So this list is going to be the current 10 anime we are going to be watching. So the 10 anime we are going to be reviewing for the spring 2025 season is Fire Force Season 3, Lazarus, My Hero Academia Vigilante, Windbreaker Season 2, Kowloon Generic Romance, Two Perfect Saint Tossed Aside by My Fiancé and Sold to Another Kingdom, Apocalypse Hotel, Rock is a Lady's Modesty, The Shiunji Family Children, and Shirley. So those 10 are going to be the proper shows that we're going to be reviewing for the channel for this season. And if you want to keep up with those weekly reviews and check out any of the other reviews that I'm going to be doing, the full length ones for winter and before, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications for that. And if you want to check out any more of the content that I do on this channel, any content that I do is going to be in the link in the description down below. And if you want to tell me about some anime I missed, or your excitement for an anime this season, or your hatred for an anime this season, comment down below your opinions, and I'm going to love to see the reaction of everybody who says anything. My name's been Music Kurosaki. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in the next.